Welcome to my channel where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially the 2023 presidential election. And as I keep saying, the presidential election is the most important of all the elections because the president of Nigeria wields enormous powers that could be used for good. I want us to talk about an issue, a big elephant in the room that is surprisingly not being talked about much in this election. And only one candidate is talking about it among the three big candidates or the front runners in this election. I'm talking about the issue of corruption. Corruption is a major problem in Nigeria, and the underdevelopment of Nigeria or the inability of Nigeria to fulfill its potential as a nation has been blamed severally by development scholars on corruption and leadership, particularly corruption, because it is poor leadership that leads to corruption, and it is poor leaders that are corrupt. So there's a close link between bad leadership and corruption in Nigeria and elsewhere in the world. Now, corruption is the reason why there is so much underdevelopment in Nigeria. Corruption is the reason why the roads are bad. Corruption is the reason why the schools are in shambles. Corruption is the reason why our hospitals are mere consulting clinics. Corruption is the reason why people have to buy their way through degrees. Corruption is the reason why parents have to hire mercenaries to write jam for their children. Corruption is the reason why the most qualified is not often the most employed in an organization, especially government organizations. Corruption is the reason why nothing seems to be working in Nigeria. Corruption is the reason why oil theft is on the increase in Nigeria. Corruption is the reason why nothing appears to be working in Nigeria. So corruption is a major cancer that is eating away the developmental potential of Nigeria. So you ask yourself, with this, the role of corruption in stifling the development of Nigeria, why is corruption not being discussed about? Why is corruption not in the front burner in the coming election? And I can tell you for free that the reason why corruption is not being in the front burner in this election is because of the presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party and the presidential candidates of the All Progressive Congress. Because these two people, as far as many Nigerians are concerned, are perceived to be allegedly corrupt. Therefore, even their campaign are doing everything possible not to talk about corruption. Of course, their campaign can say that these two men have not been convicted of any corruption allegation. They have not been convicted by any court of law. But corruption is not only about being convicted, it's about perception. That is why if you look at the Transparency International corruption rating, they talk about corruption perception index, CPI. So corruption is about the perception. What is it that people perceive about you? What is it that people perceive about Nigeria when it comes to corruption? So it is perception that matters. And of course, perceptions are not unfounded. It's often based on verifiable evidence or verifiable activities that people can point to. So, oh, this is the reason why. You can see how rain or mockery. Although many people don't, will agree that sometimes he don't need to be taken serious. I've challenged presidential candidate of APC to tell Nigerians his means of wealth. Okay, so these are some of the challenges, and there are all those who have also thrown challenge to Reno Mokwe that his principal Atiku Abubakar should also show Nigerians how he got wealthy. Now, because of these kind of issues concerning these two strong candidates, their campaign are not revolving around the issue of corruption, unlike in the past. If you recall, the campaign of President Muhammad Buhari in 2014, 2013 were all revolving around corruption. They keep on talking about corruption, that Jonathan was corrupt, PDP was corrupt. But you can see that corruption is being put on the back burner. The only candidate right now that is bringing it to the front burner and is being dwarfed by other issues is Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party. And it is important to look at how corruption has done a lot of blows to Nigeria so that we'll be able to appreciate why it is important that corruption should be a major issue that should determine who to vote for in this coming election, because it is important. No matter how hard we try, if we don't tackle corruption, and like President Muhammad Buhari used to say, if we don't kill corruption, if Nigeria doesn't kill corruption, corruption will kill Nigeria. And it's true. Corruption is the reason why the country is the way it is. There's no other explanation that you can give to explain the reason why a country with the huge energy potential of Nigeria is only generating 4,000 megawatts. It can only happen in Nigeria, where corruption is tolerated. And so I want us to look at what the world thinks about Nigeria and what even we Nigerians think about Nigeria in terms of corruption. Now, Nigeria is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. I don't think there's any debate about it now. There are several ratings by Transparency International that have shown unequivocally that Nigeria is an epicenter of corruption in the world. Nigeria is the second most corrupt country in West Africa. Is the second most corrupt country in West Africa. And that is a fact. And I don't even think that Nigerians are debating about it. A former Prime Minister of Britain, David Cameron, he described Nigeria and Afghanistan as the two most fantastically corrupt countries in the world. He said it a few days before the visit of Nigerian President Muhammad Buhari. And Buhari did not even protest about it because he knows it's a fact. Ordinarily, when you describe a country like that before a meeting, the president can take offense, but Buhari didn't take offense because he understands that that is the fact about Nigeria. And there are a lot of documented evidence that portrays Nigeria as indeed a very corrupt country. And that is why we need a president who will help us fight corruption so that Nigeria's image abroad will be cleaned up, and also the reduction in corruption will leapfrog Nigeria from where it is economically to a position of economic prominence within and outside the African continent. Now, before I show you some of the uh, evidence why Nigeria is very corrupt country and what needs to be done to tackle it. If you are new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel, anytime I have a new video, you will be among the first to know. God bless you. Now, according to The Economist, in his 2019 publication, October 2019, The Economist revealed that over $600 billion have been stolen from Nigeria by Nigerian leaders since independence. Over $600 billion have been stolen from Nigeria by Nigerian leaders since independence. Chatham House, a British think tank, estimates that $582 billion has been taken from Nigeria since independence. So these are international organizations giving estimates, and these people giving these estimates, they are Britons. And most of our leaders, when they steal this money from Nigeria, they put it in British banks. So these people have tracked these monies and have come to the conclusion that 600 billion have been moved from Nigeria since independence. Chatham House put their own figure as $582 billion. Now, plus or minus, they are literally arriving at the same conclusion. Now, the British International Corruption Unit says its investigation has led to the confiscation of 76 million pounds. 76 million pounds, that's about $117 million that were laundered loot from Nigeria since 2006. Another 791 million pounds has also been frozen worldwide due to the work of British International Corruption Unit. And according to it, he said that this barely makes a dent in the $100 billion pounds of illicit funds which Steve Godrich at Transparency International, a watchdog, records enter Britain every year. These are the amount of money that are leaving Nigeria, entering Britain every year, stolen from Nigeria by Nigerian leaders. Now, when this kind of humongous amounts are leaving a country yearly and all the time, there's no way that country can develop. Now, as a nation in search of development, 2023 presidential election is supposed to be a watershed in our move from developing country to a developed country. Now, corruption is at the center of the reason why Nigeria is not making headway. Therefore, presidential candidates that should be considered for leadership should be presidential candidates that are averse to corruption, presidential candidates that are ready to stop the spread of corruption, not presidential candidates that will come and deepen corruption. So it will surprise you that none of the front runners, except Peter Obi, are talking about corruption and what can be done about it. Because of course, it appears they have understood that if they talk about corruption, Nigerians will not take them serious. So what they try to do is to make it irrelevant as a topic for discussion ahead of the 2023 presidential election. And Peter Obi is the only candidate, as I said, who has articulated an idea on what he will do about corruption. And this is what he said in his verified Twitter handle on the issue of corruption. He said, "We are not proud of this. And my administration, when we come in, will tackle the challenge head on. We will have zero tolerance for corruption. You can expect a sledgehammer approach." My last point could easily have been my first, but I prefer not to lead with them. It is the issue of corruption and investment protection. It is no secret that corruption has been endemic and one of the biggest obstacles to our economic progress in Nigeria. And he goes on to say that with the kind of reform that my government will make, we will ensure that investments, both domestic and foreign, are protected from the stranglehold of corruption. So he is the leader that has shown that he has plans to tackle corruption. Because no matter what anybody tells you, nobody can achieve improvement in power sector, education, manufacturing, distribution, health sector without tackling the issue of corruption. And Peter Obi has shown that he is the only one who has the confidence to talk about corruption and what he can do to tackle it. The others are shying away from it for obvious reasons. So he's the one that has an idea of what to do about corruption. And Nigerians should also take note. They can also monitor all these presidential candidates. How many of them will talk about corruption? Because whatever they tell you they want to achieve cannot be achieved until corruption is tackled head on. That is the truth. Because the reason why this country is the way it is today, it is because of corruption. And anybody who tells you that he can do anything better for Nigeria without addressing corruption is not telling you the truth. Because all the sectors have been infested with corruption. And only a leader who upholds transparency, accountability, and anti-corruption can be able to sanitize the system and provide an enabling environment for development to thrive and succeed in Nigeria. Thank you for watching this video. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel, anytime I have a new video, you will be among the first to know. God bless you.